Welcome to Theater Crafts. I'm so glad you're here with me today. So today we're making oversized paper clips. We're embellishing them. Look at those. So these are large paper clips, you see like that. And I basically embellished them with this is fabric that are old show shirts. So we've got old show shirts here, and then we've got some theater fabric, and then we've got some kind of medallions that are from different shows. So today we're going to decorate oversized paper clips with a theater twist. All right, let's get crafting. All right, let me show you these examples up close. So we have here, this one has come from away as its focus, and it's really hard to see, but there's fabric that has stars on it, and it's a kind of a theater inspired fabric. And then in the strings there, this is actually a show shirt that hadn't been used, was outgrown, and then adding some just kind of netting here just to embellish. This one here, obviously we have Miss Saigon. The black is the show shirt, and you see we have, this is a way of affixing it to the paper clip. And then this is Broadway fabric, and then again adding some mesh here, and then the medallion. And this medallion was taken directly out of a brochure, a theater brochure. And let me just kind of show you. So I've got a book here. Okay, I got a musicals book here. You can just pull this down so you can see. Pull this down so you can see. And you can just really just put that right in the book, and it saves your page for when you're reading a book or a script or anything like that. All right, so let me show you the materials that are needed. So first you need your image. So in my case, I actually had this Broadway kind of tour brochure, and it had all these images in it. And I actually kind of like the size of those, and that's what I used for these here. And I actually added acrylic onto it. So I'm going to cut this out. I have a little a punch here that I'm going to use, and I'm going to use just kind of my resin with a paintbrush. Got a little paper plate here that I'm going to use. Obviously you need your paper clip. These are huge. I mean, look at the size, based on the size of my hand, they're huge. And I got this at on Amazon, but you can get these sometimes at specialty stores, discount stores. They're not obviously as popular as the regular size, but I actually love the size of that. And then obviously you're going to need scissors. With the resin, you'll need your lamp, certainly, and then any fabrics that you're going to use. So in my case, we're doing we're going to do that Wicked. So you need needle and thread. You're going to need your scissors. Now, I'm actually going to use pinking shears. So pinking shears, if you can see, they have kind of a zigzag cutting, and that's going to help your fabric from fraying as much. So you'll see on this, you see that it's jagged on the edges, and so that's going to I think it also gives it a little bit of a flowery effect, and I'll be honest, but that's going to help it from fraying. So I'm going to use my theater fabric. I love this theater fabric. I'm going to use that. This is going to be the background. I thought because it's Glinda, maybe adding a little pink in there might be kind of fun. And then this is an old show shirt, and this is a great way to incorporate some of those old shirts that don't work for you anymore. So that's basically, hot glue gun, your hot glue gun and glue sticks, obviously, to glue those together. All right, well, let's get crafting. So I've cut the image out, kind of rough cut it, and then I'm going to put this upside down, and that is so that I can see the image to make sure that we're getting it right where I want it. So if you can see that, I'm actually going to cut that just a little bit more, just to make sure I get that right in the center. Yeah, there we go. Okay, and then you're going to cut it, push down, and you'll cut it. So it's kind of reverse of what you normally would do, but there's the image right there. All right, and that's great for crafting. If you want to make these medallions, I just love it. I just think it's really cool. So I have a mat here that is good for resin, so the resin will not stick to it. So I'm going to use that mat. I've put it to protect my counter, my workspace. Now, obviously, if you're using resin and you've got your hands in there, you really want to be very, very careful. And use gloves. I actually have fans going in here right now, so I have a well-ventilated space as well. But I'm just going to use the paintbrush. So literally, I'm just going to paint right onto. Actually, one second. One thing that I have found has been helpful is having a toothpick. I forgot to tell you that. Having a toothpick just to keep your medallion from moving about. So I'm just going to use my toothpick and just going to spread this along the medallion. Now again, if it's on the mat, it's going to come off, so that's not a worry. But it's on the counter, it's a good way to ruin your counter. So this is just a way to kind of give a little bit more kind of substance to your medallion here. All right, so I'm going to take my lamp and I'm going to cure that for a couple of minutes. Okay, so I've let it cure for a couple of minutes. That's what it looks like. I'm going to flip it over and do the back too, just to make sure that we've got it nice and secure. So let me actually do the front again as well, just to get that nice and solid. Okay, so we're going to do this exactly the same way. Now you don't have to do this. You could actually put, like, they have those clear cabochon kind of beads that you could put over it. If you wanted to do that, that certainly would work too. Or you don't have to do it at all. All right, I'm going to let that cure for a couple minutes. All right, so I have done another coat on the front, and you can see there it's got some kind of heft to it. So it's nice and solid. So I'm going to put this to the side. We're not going to use that for a bit. And I have cut my pieces here to make the flowers. So if you look here, okay, so I've cut pieces. So I've got the back and then the front and then the netting here. I'm going to do the same kind of process here. So it, the width doesn't really matter as long as one is smaller than the other. So the back one, obviously, you want to make a little bit longer, so it's up to you. So I chose to do the pattern on the middle row here, and I chose to do the pattern on the back row here. Totally up to you which way you go about doing that. So this one I chose to do the green pattern on the back, mostly because the green is not exactly the same green. So I just decided to do that in the back there. And then the front, notice I did use the pinking shears to cut them. Now, I just did it the width of the fabric, mostly because I found that it was like about 18 inches or so to make the back and a little bit smaller to make the front. So it's totally up to you how wide you make it. This is actually the entire width of the t-shirt that I used. So I'm just gonna cut the end of that. Okay, and I won't use all of it. Obviously, that's quite long. So I just want to show you. So I'm going to double my thread, and I want to show you how to knot the thread, because I find that people, my students especially, kind of don't really know how to knot a piece of a thread. So I've got two lengths here. It's right here, I got quite long actually, but two lengths, and there the ends are right, you can see that, are right there. I'm going to lick my finger. I know that's weird. And I'm going to wrap this around my finger like that. Don't do it too tightly. And then you're going to roll it, see that? And then you take your fingernail and pull it down, and that's going to make a nice big knot. And that's how I start all of my my knots for any project that I'm doing. So with the this, we're actually basically going to do a running stitch. I'm going to start here at the bottom and pull my thread through, and you're just going to do, and make them big. You know, they don't have to be small. In fact, they're better if they're bigger. Okay, just make a quick running stitch all the way down, and you're not going to use the whole thing. Obviously, this is quite a long piece, and then you'll see it's going to start to gather, and it will look really, really cool. Don't worry if it gets knotted. We will unknot that. All right, so I'm going to continue. I'm going to do my kind of stitching, and I'll show you when I get to the end what that's going to look like. Okay, so you see that I've gathered that up quite a bit, and it all depends on how full you want your flower to be. So, you know, if you want it fuller, you can just add, you know, add more length to it. If you don't want it quite as full, you don't have to do quite as much length. So I'm gonna, I think I'm gonna stop here. Now I am gonna do pinking shears on the end here as well, just to cut that off. And I'm gonna go to the end here, and then I'm just going to pull these together. See how that looks? So it's like a little medallion. So then I've got the end here, and I'm going to sew the two ends together in the back. I want to make sure it looks nice in the front. This is the front. So I'm going to kind of just tack them together. You don't have to be like really particular about it, because this part is not even going to be seen. So, but I do want to make sure that they are really securely attached so the flower doesn't come apart. Okay, and it is going to overlap just a little bit. And then when you're knotting off, you're going to start a stitch, just so you know. We'll start, this happens with my students all the time too. I'll just cut off the thread, not knot it. So you're going to start a stitch and then put your needle through it and then pull it tight. I actually do it 3 times just to be safe, because you don't want that coming apart. Like I said, we are going to glue it, so it's not the end of the world, but you do want to make sure that that's nice and secure. Okay, so remember, we are going to cover this too with the next layer, so no need to worry about any of that. All right, so I'm going to cut this off, and then I'm going to do the exact same process with this middle layer. All right, you want to make sure that it's facing the right way. All right, so I'm going to do that, and I'll be right back. So I have done the same process with the fabric. I kind of made it a little bit more pleated here. I made it a little bit fuller. And then I did the same thing with this little kind of netting. So if you notice, I had netting on the other two as well. So this one here, I just glued it down. This one actually gathered it like I just did with the pink one. So totally up to you. You don't even need to include it. But then I have this. Oh, that just seems like Glinda to me. So I thought I would glue that down here just to have, I don't know, just a fun element there. And then it's going to be covered, the top of it's going to be covered with the other fabric. So you don't need to worry about the top of it being seen. But I thought, ooh, this would be fun kind of poking out. So we got that. And then we're going to glue this right on top. So I'm just going to put some glue on the back here. And then just going to glue this right on top of that one. Fun, fun, fun. All right, now the pink one. Here's the pink one. And I'm going to glue that on top of this. And I want to be careful because this pink one is see-through. So I'm just going to, and I don't want to burn my fingers. And that's just to add a little bit of dimension there. And then we're going to glue this medallion that we did right on top of that. Secure that down. I love these. I think they're so fun. Look at that. That is magical. Okay, so now we have to add it to the paper clip. All right, so with the paper clip, now if I just glued it on, it really wouldn't stay. So you need to have kind of a backing. So I had a piece of like just green felt and I just cut a circle. It might be a little big, but cut a circle. And that way you can put this in the center and then you have a way for it to stay on. Now, you wanna make sure that the double side of the paper clip is facing down, and you want to make sure that it's in the right direction. Fortunately, we got these to help us. So I'm going to put that right there, and we're going to put some hot glue here, and we're not going to be really generous with that glue so that it stays down. I can always go back in and do the edges if I need to. Oh, looks pretty good though. It also covers the the kind of the sewing part of it, so it's a nice way to have that. Oh my gosh, look at that! Wasn't got glue sticks on glue. Oh my goodness, that is just adorable. These are so cute. What a way to dress up your books that you're reading. I love them. I love being able to take things that these are old show shirts, these are from brochures, and really make something special that you can use moving forward. So anyway, I hope you try this, and thank you so much for joining me for this week's Theater Craft. I will see you next week. Have a great week, everybody. Bye.